Asia. KUCHING-SERIAN package to be completed by June, and Silk Sonic takes top award at the Grammys. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Muhammad Yusuf, and you're now watching TVS Nightline. We begin with this top story. The 4 new flyovers along the KUCHING-SERIAN road have reached over 90% completion. These flyovers included in the package worth 322,966,210 ringgit are located at 4.5 mile, 6 mile, 7th mile and 10th mile, is expected to be completed by the end of June 2022.
Bagi mile 6, we expect it to be completed by June 2022. Mile 7, also June 2022. Mile 10, we hope and pray it can be completed in May 2022.
UGA disclosed the progress of the project during his work visit at the site of Pan Borneo Highway, located at 6 Mile on Tuesday. Currently, the state government, according to UGA, is satisfied with the construction by contractors hired to develop the project.
We thank the contractor, and we hope more contractors will be doing as well as them. We have a lot of projects in Sarawak at the moment. It's very critical that the project will be completed in time.
He also lauded efforts put out by the Works Department and the Ministry of Works. For records, the bridge located at 4.5 mile has been fully open for public use, while the remaining flyovers located at 6 mile, 7th mile and 10th mile have reached 93.6%, 93.37% and 96.01% respectively. The 370 million ringgit cable stayed bridge project connecting the Mat Laut and Samarahan, which provides an alternative route linking Kuching and Samarahan and at the same time alleviating traffic congestion during peak hours. Despite the 85-day delays due to the pandemic, climate change and the lack of raw material sources, the project is scheduled to be completed on time.
There are problems, but the JKR is discussing and working out with the contractors to ensure the problem are resolved. For example, if they have a material problem, then they're working it out. So I'm very pleased at how they're handling the progress of the work, and we hope the issue and the problem that was being laid out just now to us, we will find a way how to resolve it. The most important, we want this project to be complete on time.
As such, supervision works will be enhanced following the high expectation resting on the ministry's shoulders, as the project will be the final link at completing the ambitious 896 kilometers coastal highway.
It is important that the supervision is to be very tight to make sure that we will be able to deliver the project on time. Because I think that people have a very high expectation on us and GPS government. So that's why we from the ministry are coming down to have right first-hand look at what are the situation.
Meanwhile, once completed, the third longest of its kind in the country, which stretches 1.28 kilometers, is set to improve connectivity in the surrounding areas, as well as indirectly open up more socio-economic sectors spanning the sectors of agriculture, fishery, as well as activities under the Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy, or SCORE. The project was awarded to KACC Construction Sendirian Berhad, and it is expected to be completed by January 6, 2025. More than 2 million civil servants and pensioners will receive the Aidilfitri financial aid worth 500 ringgit and 250 ringgit respectively. The aid recipients comprise of grade 56 and below, including those on contract of service and contract for service, part-time daily paid officers, and appointments under My Step. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the special aid will be paid together with the April salary on April 25, 2022, which involves an allocation of 923 million ringgit. Ismail Sabri said the announcement was made earlier to help the people make better planning and preparations for their Aidilfitri celebrations. The incentive also shows the government's appreciation to civil servants for their deeds and sacrifices in performing their duties to serve the Malaysian family. The government hoped this aid would ease the burden of civil servants and spur them to continue serving with dedication. On to the next update. Bumiputra teachers are encouraged to participate in the Sarawak Bumiputra Teacher Leadership Cooperative. The chairman of the Sarawak Bumiputra Teachers Union, Ahmad Mali, said various initiatives and benefits would be given when becoming a member of the cooperative.
Seperti macam kalau bagi ahli-ahli yang menyertai koperasi kita nanti, kita akan memberi pulangan insentif kepada mereka dalam bentuk dividen dan bonus. Bergantung kepada keuntungan yang kita perolehi dalam perniagaan kita. Tertakluk kepada keuntungan kita lah. Kita tak boleh nak janjikan berapa peratus, tertakluk kepada keuntungan. Sebab itu kita ada share, kita menggunakan saham dan sebagainya dalam urusan perniagaan dan menjadi ahli koperasi kita lah.
Meanwhile, when questioned about the type of business carried out by the cooperative, this was Ahmad Mali's response.
Contoh perniagaan kita ialah seperti tender-tender kontrak di jabatan-jabatan kerajaan dan sebagainya lah. Khususnya yang berkaitan dengan kontrak-kontrak pendidikan. Sebab kita ialah koperasi guru kan, jadi kita berusaha untuk mendapat kontrak-kontrak tender-tender yang berkaitan dengan urusan-urusan yang berkaitan dengan pendidikan lah. Dan juga jabatan-jabatan yang lain sebagai orang yang terlibat dalam perkhidmatan awam.
Additionally, any new teachers who wish to become a member of the cooperative must first register as a member of the Sarawak Bumiputra Teachers Union, KGBS. The cooperative was established on July 7, 2021, aiming to further strengthen the Bumiputra Teachers Union movement in the state as an organization specifically seeking funds. A health expert at the University Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM warned the public to be aware of overeating during this Ramadan season. Muslims are urged to take the opportunity of the fasting month to practice a balanced diet for good health. The Faculty of Health Sciences Dean, Professor Dr. Suzana Shahar, said that half of the adult population in Malaysia were either obese or overweight. Although some were able to lose their weight during the fasting month, not many were able to maintain the weight after that. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Malaysian Adult and Childhood Obesity Prevention Organization, Kevin Zahri, shared on social media some exercises that could be practiced before and after the fast. He also started a Fit Ramadan program aiming to help people lose weight, with participation of about 1,000 people. The police have been urged to undertake a thorough investigation on the recent incident where tombs were raided at the Chinese cemetery in Bukit Aup, Sibu. Though the incident isn't new, it has raised numerous concerns as more and more cases have been reported since late March. According to Dudong State Assemblyman Datuk Seri Tiong King Sing, the reported incident was not given the attention it should, causing more individuals to attempt such indecent behavior. Tiong was greatly disturbed when he found out that several tombs were raided during an important day when many paid visit to the cemetery and described such behavior as inhuman. Hence, he urged the relevant authority to act swiftly in addressing the matter before it evolves into a negative norm that causes many social problems. Previously, 7 graves at the Bukit Aup Chinese Cemetery were raided. The matter was confirmed by the chairman of the Chinese Cemetery Association in Cebu, Councillor Teo Boon Siu. Teo also stated that coffins were burnt, leaving nothing behind. A 28-year-old army personnel was believed to have been killed by his wife following a heated altercation between the two. Kota Samarahan District Police DSP Sudirman Kram said the incident occurred at their house at Penrison Camp around 10:30 p.m. on Monday. Sudirman confirmed that the 24-year-old suspect had allegedly attacked her husband with a sharp object and stabbed the victim's left thigh. As a result, the victim suffered from massive blood loss and was rushed to the Sarawak General Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The body was then sent to the mortuary for further action. The suspect is now detained at the Samarahan City Police Station to facilitate investigation. The couple is believed to have a 3-year-old boy who was handed over to the suspect's relative. This case is investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code as a murder case. Welcome back to the Nightline. Malaysia has yet to record any mutation of the Omicron variant known as XE, dubbed as the most contagious variant by the World Health Organization WHO. As the variant has made its way to Thailand, the Health Ministry MOH is undertaking research and the development of the said variant. Its Minister Khairi Jamaluddin noted that the ministry is in the midst of understanding the infectivity rate and the severity of infection from the XE variant.
Dan ini adalah seperti negara-negara lain juga yang sudah pun melihat peningkatan varian Omicron BA2. Tetapi dari segi kesan keburukan varian Omicron BA2 ni, kita dapati bahawa tidak lebih severe ataupun tidak lebih buruk daripada varian Omicron yang asal. Sebab itu kalau kita melihat dari segi kemasukan ke hospital dan juga unit rawatan rapi di Malaysia semakin menurun.
Once the result of the study is gathered, a complementary safety measure will be in place. Khairi spoke during a press conference after his visit to Raja Permaisuri Bainun Hospital earlier today. Previously, WHO announced the new XE variant of concern, a hybrid byproduct between two types of the Omicron variant, the BA1 and the BA2. Starting from July 4th, manufacturers and importers of non-medical face masks must apply for MS Serum certification and labeling from Serum QAS International Sendirian Berhad. In a statement today by the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPDN-HEP, it stated that the ruling comes following the gazetting of the Trade Descriptions, Certification and Marking of Non-Medical Face Mask Order 2022 under the Trade Descriptions Act 2011. According to KPDN-HEP, the move was to ensure that non-medical face masks produced locally or imported complied with the set safety standards. The move was intended to safeguard the well-being and to protect the interests of consumers. Additionally, the ministry hopes that the issue of dumping of poor-quality non-medical face masks in the Malaysian market would be resolved. Meanwhile, any companies failing to comply with the regulations can be fined up to 200,000 ringgit, while individuals will face a fine of up to 100,000 ringgit or imprisonment of up to 3 years, or both. Driven by recovery in domestic demand, expansion in exports and reopening of the borders, Malaysia's economy is expected to grow 5.5% this year. And according to a World Bank report, the external sector will continue to lend its support. However, it is cautioned that the growth could slow to 4.8% if the global condition worsens amid the Russia-Ukraine conflict, financial tightening in the United States, and structural slowdown in China. Additionally, other risks include a worsening in supply chain disruptions and the emergence of more severe COVID-19 variants. According to the World Bank's East Asia and Pacific EAP Economic Update April 2022 titled Braving the Storm, while the economy is projected to be on a recovery path, COVID-19, food inflation and floods are expected to weigh down progress on well-being of the poor and vulnerable. Last year, the World Bank projected Malaysia's economy to grow 5.8% this year compared to 3.1% in 2021. Meanwhile, with the monetary shock in the US, it is assumed that the interest rates would be increased by at least 25 basis points. As such, it is likely to hurt the growth by as much as minus 0.4 percentage points in Malaysia. The earlier than expected monetary tightening could make recovery even harder in other countries. On the other hand, the financial shock from the war in Ukraine may lead to a slower than planned tightening of US monetary policy despite the stronger inflationary pressures. As for the EAP region, GDP is expected to expand 5.0% this year and could slow to 4.0%, down from the earlier projection of 5.4% in October last year, the year in which output rebounded from the COVID-19 contraction. The World Bank said the Russia-Ukraine war and sanctions would likely increase international prices of food and fuel, hurting consumers and growth. Thank you for staying with me. Now, on to some global updates. Protesters block roads in different parts of Peru on Monday, April 4th, during a national transportation strike against gas prices and toll rates.
Porque este paro no solamente es aquí, es en todo el Perú el día de hoy. Ya, y que sepan que el peruano que tiene, nosotros somos ricos cada día. Acá tenemos de todo, no tenemos por qué pasar todas estas cosas. Ya, todo por un mal manejo de estos gobiernos que están haciendo. Estos congresistas que se sientan a dormir, que se sientan a debatir una vacancia. Pierden el tiempo en todas esas cosas y no se preocupan por eso.
In towns like Ate, Ica, and Manche, protesters burned tires in the middle of the roads and clashed with police and set fire to South Pan American Highway toll booths in Ica. Spiking fuel prices have caused widespread protests by Peruvian truckers and farmers. As such, the government has been taking measures to mitigate rising fuel prices, including subsidies that it says have already prevented a rise of 81 US cents per gallon in the price of diesel and a hike of $1.36 in the price of 10 kilograms gas cylinders. Peru's inflation hit its highest level in 26 years, largely driven by rising fuel and food prices. Hundreds of indigenous people began gathering in the Brazilian capital on Monday, April 4th, for a 10-day protest camp to defend their land rights and oppose a government bill in Congress that would allow mining and oil exploration on their reservations. Organizers are hoping to gather 7,000 people from 200 of Brazil's 305 tribes to press Congress not to pass legislation proposed by far-right President Jair Bolsonaro that would open their protected lands to commercial mining and agriculture. Warriors in feathered headdresses with their bodies painted with the black and red dyes of Amazon fruit seeds dance chanting ritual songs as they put up tents on the grassy esplanade next to government ministries in central Brasilia. Sonia Guayayara, head of the country's main indigenous umbrella organization, the Articulation of Indigenous Peoples APIB, which represents most of Brazil's 900,000 indigenous people, said they would not back down.
Estamos aqui para somar e para lutar em defesa do nosso povo e para a igualdade. As nações, os povos, saber que nós indígenas somos os primeiros habitantes do Brasil. E estamos aqui para mostrar para o Brasil e para o mundo que nós não morremos, né? Nós somos a história viva, nós somos...
President Jair Bolsonaro has said indigenous people have too much land, holding up the development of the country, and vowed not to recognize an inch more of reservation lands.
Na campanha dele, ele disse que se ele for eleito, não ia deixar nenhum centímetro de terra demarcado para o indígena. Então, desde a campanha dele já começou a declarar guerra.
Environmentalists say the reservation saved the rainforest from destruction. Guayayara said 13% of Brazil's territory is protected indigenous reservation land, with 98% of that in the Amazon region. However, 400 indigenous communities are still struggling to get their ancestral lands recognized. Bill 191 is being fast-tracked in the lower house of Congress by lawmakers allied to the government who argue that it is needed to extract potash for fertilizers for Brazil's grain crops that depend on imports disrupted by the Ukraine war. The legislation, backed by the powerful farm lobby, would also allow hydroelectric dams to be built on indigenous lands. Wrapping up the Nightline, R&B duo Silk Sonic performed one of their smoothest moves to date on Sunday night, executing a clean sweep of Grammy Awards in all 4 categories that they were nominated. Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars took home the coveted statues for Best R&B Performance, Best R&B Song, Song of the Year, and Record of the Year. The super duo also opened the awards show with a dazzling performance of their song 777. The two seemed to be in high spirits all night, dancing their way to the stage to accept their awards.
And you know what? Because of you guys, me and Andy going to be singing this song forever, so God bless you all.
Our lives, we love you. We are really trying our hardest to remain humble at this point, okay? But in the industry, we call that a clean sweep.
As solo artists, Mars and Paak holds 11 and 4 Grammys respectively. The two are currently headlining a residency in Las Vegas. And that concludes tonight's TVS Nightline. For more news update 24/7, make sure you follow us on our socials at TVSTVMY on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. My name is Muhammad Yusuf. Good night and have a good race.